Good afternoon. We are going to be talking to the incomparable Kelly Hager today. She will be showing up momentarily. This is her first time going IGTV live, but I'm super excited. What's up, Robin? Her story is pretty remarkable, and she's been a huge part of my next step and my next. Oh, there's Arras Sisters. I think there. Let me go to Kelly. Yes. Kelly. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Hold on one second. I'm just trying to get myself all set up and good to go. Okay.
That is all right. First of all, the hair.
I know.
You look like you've been able to get your hair done when everybody else has quarantine hair.
No.
Oh, no, it looks good.
No,
I'm turning up the volume. Oh my gosh, Kelly, thank you so much for joining me on this IGTV Live, this little time that we're just going to get together and share.
Well, I'm really excited to be here. You are one of my all-time favorites, so I am honored to be here.
Thank you, Kelly. Okay, Kelly, first of all, where are you?
So right now I'm in St. Louis.
Okay.
We're going to be here for like another 3 weeks, and then we'll be in LA pretty much rest of year this year.
Okay, that's huge.
Yeah.
So Kelly, can you tell people a little about what is Arras Sisters?
So Arras is, it's evolved, right? But Arras Sisters is a place where we create opportunities for women, and we do that through 3 different ways. We do it through film, we do it through consulting, and we do it through building community. And it's so cool to see the community come together and what's happening and how many people are connecting across the country and across the world. And it's the coolest thing that I think I've ever worked on in my life. So I love it.
What was the vision? Like, what made you start Arras?
So I had gotten really sick about 10 years ago. And so I was in a coma. My organs were shutting down. I come out of that. And my husband decides that he doesn't really want to take care of a vegetable. We had been married for 10 years. So he left. And so it was like 3 years of kind of recovery and figuring out what I wanted to do and all of that. And it really kind of started there. And then an old friend of mine from my 20s kind of popped back in my life. And so we did a lot of traveling and a lot of there was a lot of introspection and trying to understand like what made me tick and why I had the chance really to live on borrowed time. And we all live on borrowed time, right?
We do. But we all don't have the wonderful opportunity of feeling it. And that's what that time of being in the hospital and being incredibly sick and on your deathbed gave you. It gave you that perspective that you feel the clock. You feel it now.
Yeah. So did that, and then it got really serious and came back and got really serious about how we were going to do what we were going to do. And then of course that's evolved 20 times since then. But that evolution of meeting so many wonderful people that have so much in them and so much they want to do and so much they want to give. Oh gosh, it's just been the most rewarding experience ever.
But okay, I just for those people who are home and who don't know you, how does one go from, I travel around, I see that people have these really interesting stories, to going, I want to create something that mobilizes? How did you do that? That's pretty phenomenal. And that's and by the way, that's not normal.
Okay. So I come from a really entrepreneurial family that really taught me to be very entrepreneurial. This is my second company. I built a $55 million company, and after about 12 years sold it. And so that was really cool. And it was with an all-female leadership team until kind of like the last year or year and a half, and there was one guy after that. So and all different types of women. So it was something that I was really proud of, and something that I really wanted to carry on as we built something different. And there's things that men are really good at. There's things that women are really good at. And the thing, though, that we're not good at is building confidence and helping each other build confidence. And
Mm.
I realized the need for that. And that's really what motivated me to do what I'm doing today.
And so you had already seen yourself build something extraordinary. And so when you had this next borrowed time opportunity, you're like, you know what? I know I've done something extraordinary before over here in real estate. I can do it over here with women, mobilizing, encouraging women, and helping us know how amazing we are.
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
Getting to know ourselves. And I think if you can highlight people's strengths and they start to get really comfortable in their strengths,
Mm-hmm.
The world is literally just going to be completely unstoppable. And that's something that I'm really proud of. You know, when we work with people in filming them and doing speaker reels, they come in and they've had a lot of practice and time with me and one of my producers, and
Mm-hmm.
they come in and they're really nervous. And within 90 minutes, they've nailed it in 90% of the cases. And they walk away feeling so, just so empowered. And I don't really like that word, but they do. They feel so good about how they've communicated and what they've communicated.
Why don't you like the word empower?
I think it's really overused at the moment.
Overused, kind of like love. I love you.
Yeah, like it's kind of like feminism. Like
Mm-hmm.
it got dirty because, it got dirty because it got overused. And I think the same thing's happening with when we say empowerment or empower. I like, how about we build some confidence, you know?
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of building confidence.
Yes.
So Kelly, I want to go back.
Okay.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
You know, I wanted to be a lot of things, but I really wanted to be a fireman.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. What did we like about being a fireman? What was the draw?
I think it was helping people, you know,
Helping
and really
people.
helping people get out of their, you know, whatever. I don't know what I thought I was going to do, but yeah, I really wanted to be a fireman.
I love it. What is something big and bold that you are tackling right now, that you're taking on? What's something big and bold?
Well, you know, the whole market has pivoted, right? So nobody's up doing sizzle reels right now and getting really close and filming and doing documentaries. One of the things that I'm really proud of is I do believe we are going to get these 2 documentaries that we're working on. You know, I think we're going to get funded over this pandemic is obviously throwing a little bit of a wrench in things, but certainly over the next 18 months, we should be funded on both of those. And
can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I don't know if anybody else knows about it.
Oh, sure. Of course.
Yeah.
So there's a woman that I've gotten to work with, and she's phenomenal. And she was shot 3 times by her husband, who then committed suicide, and then has a daughter that stepped over her dad to save her mother. And now the daughter is on tap for the Olympics for gymnastics. And
that's the noise.
Has left her small town and has moved to Texas and now works for one of Ross Perot's cousins as a CFO to a massive development company. And so it's just really cool to see, and gives back in the abusive sector a lot. One of the things that is really tricky, and you know, 78% of the population that I've interviewed over the last 2 years has been abused. So it's really important for me to help be a vehicle to really start sharing what you can do and how you can kind of potentially get out of it, potentially never get in it, you know, like what are those steps? So that's one documentary that we're really excited about. The other one that we're working on it's a little bit further behind, but is kids that have special needs and how unbelievably intelligent and smart and interesting they are.
It's so true.
Yeah. So that's kind of in the works as well. And in between now and then is a little bit of brain surgery for me. So, you know.
Can you pause? Okay. So one, I just want to kind of bring together what you just said. So you, as well as Arras, making opportunities for women, helping them realize how amazing they are and confident in who they are. you're
Yeah.
also doing these documentaries, and you're working on, that's a big and bold thing you're tackling,
Sure.
creating documentaries. And you just told us a story of one of
Yes.
the four that you are currently creating. Now,
Yeah.
then you end and you go, yeah, and in between, brain surgery. Pause. Talk to us about that.
So
Brain surgery.
yeah, so they found a couple of tumors that we need to get out that are not cancerous. However, they're wreaking havoc on my body. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited to get those out of my body as soon as this
Yes.
pandemic ends.
Yeah.
And insurance says yes, and all of that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
So we're working on that a little bit. And the interesting thing about when you really start to dive in of why you're doing what you're doing and how long you can go and what you can do and all those things, it's so important, right, to take care of yourself. And
Sure.
it's so, yeah, so I've got to get this squared up. And in between all of that, we just launched a new product today, actually, which is really fun.
Give it to me. What is it?
So we are, one of the things that we do in a lot of what we're doing is we build out media kits.
Uh-huh.
And those media kits are really helpful because they explain your story in a really positive way. And if you are, looking to expand your horizons, if you're looking to do something different than what you're doing currently, you need something that displays who you are and what you're doing. And so we have launched just a kind of a mini,
Yes.
which is a 2-hour consult with building out your media kit. And because we need that 2 hours to really get to know you, understand what you're trying to do, how you're going to do it, and all of that, and then design a media kit that matches your evolution. So
Look at that. And is this all is it all kind of virtual? Like we'll
yes,
be talking to you?
you got it. So we'll have a
Okay.
2-hour consult over a Zoom call.
Okay.
And then we'll build out the media kit, and then people will be able, so they'll have a deliverable that they'll
Yes.
be able to, and to me,
And it's been helpful for me, by the way.
good.
You guys created a media kit for me and a speaker's reel, and I've absolutely used it and landed things and had opportunities. And it was an easy way to introduce myself. It was like a great elevator pitch.
Yes, that's the goal, because
Yep.
so many people are pivoting at the moment. So, we're just trying to bite size some of the programs that we work on with women and really make it so it's very easy to do over, state lines and all of that kind of stuff.
So how do people get in touch with you about that?
Sure. They can either direct message me on Instagram, or
and you're Arras Sisters. You're the one that I've actually attached to this, my intro of you, Arras Sisters.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Or they can reach out via email, which is, or you know what, they can reach out via text. That's actually better. I hate email, right?
Right. I know. I don't really love it either.
Yeah.
So do me a favor. Is it all right that I share your telephone number, the text for people to text?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll share it so you don't even have to worry about it.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
I want to go back to brain surgery again.
Oh.
I know, because we're just skimming over this. I need to pause, and I don't even know if you've really paused to real. I mean, that's a huge thing. So I want to know, how are you feeling? Are you nervous? How are you feeling, Kelly?
I went through this weird thing of, okay, I'm going to do this trial drug, and the trial drug made me really, really sick. So I did that for 10 weeks. And then I thought, I'm going to go the functional route, because there's so many people that have found functional medicine to be incredibly helpful. And I think it is in many, many aspects. Unfortunately, not specific to this circumstance. So I
think this circumstance needed some outside kind of intervention.
Right. Yes. So we got that outside intervention. And, in St. Louis, we've got this great hospital here called Washington University. And I wasn't getting the support help that I needed. So I asked for a second opinion. And that is something I want to talk about, that if you've ever had anything kind of that's more progressive than what you feel confident that your current staff, your current medical team, then you've got to go somewhere else. And
right.
So they referred me to a group at UCLA, and they were very progressive. they knew right away what a long, 4 or 5 years of trying to dissect was, and how it happened and what happened. And they were really, really, they were friendly as well,
Yeah.
and really knowledgeable and very progressive. And they were just the right fit for me. So,
Okay.
like when you have doctors that are willing to give out their cell phone numbers, like, and
Ooh, that's a big deal.
that's a big deal. And their email address, like, and then they respond, like when you reach out, they actually respond. And yeah, that kind of,
That's how my husband's kidney team
yeah,
is. They make themselves very accessible. And, like we're on the phone. He called my mobile just the other day because he couldn't get through to Matthews. And he's like, hey, it's Dr. Fodiatis. That stuff makes me feel like, okay, I'm
they,
caught. I'm captured.
yeah,
Somebody has me.
yes. And I would tell you, like, you don't normally get something like that unless you've been with a doctor for a long time and they kind of trust you.
Right.
And these guys straight away, they were like, here's my phone number. And I was like, wait, what? Like it was just kind of one of those things. So the other thing that I have a support network around me that is just, I'm so lucky. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and I know I also helped create that network, but my family has just been unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends are unbelievable. And it's just so cool. Like, I mean, I know I'm going to be like out of pocket for a minute, but I feel like I won't miss a beat because everybody's there. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about it. It's weird. I was really nervous and really uncomfortable until I met these doctors. And then I'm sure the day of, or the couple of days before, when we're doing all the tests and all the final things before that, I'll get nervous. But I'm a really good compartmentalizer. And
Yeah.
so
I'm
I
not. I
can
don't know if
like,
I'm as good as you are.
I can block it. Like I can say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, if I have to focus on that right now, I'm going to focus on that. But there's a lot of other people that have a lot of really tough stuff going on right now. So I just say that we all kind of have what I call our bags of shit, pardon me. And
Yep. It's true.
like we all have it. Like it doesn't matter who you are. I don't care if you're as rich as Oprah, or you're super poor, or you're in the middle, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like we all have our stuff, and it's just learning to kind of work through that, and remain
I
positive.
mean, we do all have our stuff, but I always say this though, because I do want to acknowledge the profundity of what's about to happen in your life, and that it's a
Yeah,
big deal. And even if you are nervous, it doesn't matter if other people have stuff that goes on in their lives that's difficult as well. What I always say is, me being in pain does not relieve you of pain. So like, because oftentimes when I tell people of,
yeah.
what I'm going through, they'll be like, mine isn't as big as your Shay, but I'm like, pain is pain.
No
Me, you like,
comparing. Yeah,
you
no
go,
comparing.
there's,
Yeah,
it doesn't disappear because of a comparative analysis and go, well, my pain isn't as great as their pain. So then it's not, it could be still a big pill to swallow. And it's still amazing that you're able to compartmentalize it. But I mean, I just want you to know that the average person would be, this would be really weighty and heavy. And it could be a time where someone could get discouraged. So I love that you are not. Are you
yeah.
still there?
We don't have
Yeah.
time. And we don't have to, I'll give you a perfect example. I When I was Brian had left, and I met this girl who was a nanny for somebody else who I knew, who their kids were about to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so she was going to be free, and I met her, and she kind of came into my life.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing girl. And she literally helped me with Brady from age 3 to 8. And when I say helped, I mean, she knew that I didn't have, at that time, I was still on a walker. Like I couldn't walk very
Oh
well,
my
and
God.
had a 3-year-old and all that kind of stuff. And now, obviously, I'm totally free, and, all that kind of stuff. But she would come at like 7 in the morning and wouldn't really leave until Brady almost was asleep at night. So,
Oh.
I mean, she was a lifesaver. Well, the craziest thing, 2 years ago, or almost 3 years ago now, she got pregnant and all that kind of stuff. And she has an almost 2-year-old that has Tay-Sachs. and listening
What
to
is
her.
Tay-Sachs?
Tay-Sachs is a very rare genetic disease that kills babies by the time they're 3 or 4 years old. It is
Mm.
like the most, and you just like they start off okay, but then they can't sit up and they can't function at all. And
Oh.
I talked to her last night for about an hour and a half, and I saw her son and all that, but like he's up seizures a day and he has a GI tube because he can't eat anymore. And I just think this woman that took such amazing care is dealing with that. Like that gives me more heartburn than going and getting this
Yeah.
thing taken care of. You know what I mean? Like that's so, and it's interesting. Like I've only seen her a couple of times and talked to her a couple of times, but like she literally took care of me and she took care of Brady. And I mean, and now she's probably, 35, 38. Oh, no, she's not 38. She's probably 35. So she's
Mm-hmm.
young and she has all of this to deal with.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think it always puts it in perspective, right? So it's
Yeah.
a
Perspective is
perspective's a
key.
really, it is. And so you look at people. There
It
was a
allows you
woman
to
that,
be appreciative too.
that's why I'm so grateful.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for all the opportunities that I've had up to this point and can't wait to see what the next 30 or 40 years is going to look like. But
Yes.
I am very appreciative and very grateful about the current space that I get to be in at the moment. So that's been really fun and interesting and hard. And like anybody knows that when you go off on your own, I had my own company, I did all that. It always takes longer than you think, and you always think like, oh, it's all going to work out and it'll be fine, and most of the time it really does. So it's those times though when it doesn't that you're like, oh crap, and I think we all have those times.
Yes. What do you do in those oh crap moments? What does Kelly Hager do?
What do I do? I get really quiet, to be honest. I get really quiet. I go insular. I try to sort out what I mean. Like I couldn't talk about the brain surgery probably until maybe the last couple of weeks. Like nobody knew about it before then. Maybe like one or two people, but very, very few people, because I was worried about my business and I was worried about, like it sounds tough and it sounds
Mm-hmm.
hard and it sounds all those things. And I'm just not somebody who feels sorry for myself. So I definitely don't want anybody else to feel sorry either, so it's
Sure.
kind of,
But we can
yeah,
feel empathy. We can feel
yeah,
empathy.
yeah,
When we see somebody walking through
yeah.
something heavy, it's a wonderful thing to feel for them.
You bet. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, I mean, I have a 13-year-old son who,
Ooh.
that's my reason, right? Like all of a sudden
Yeah.
he's 13. He was a little guy for a long time. All of a sudden he's got a smart mouth and
I
puberty.
know. Mine
Yeah.
does too. She
Yeah.
turned 13 during this quarantine time, so she got to spend the 13 with her mom and dad. So pretty much good times. No, she was like,
Mm.
but we're
Where are my
here.
friends? Yes,
I
we
have another
are.
question for you. What's
Sure.
something recent that has scared you? What's something that you're like, man, I'm scared of this?
What's something that scared me recently? What I would say that's scaring me recently is it is all the people that are dying, and
Mm,
I feel like enough attention is being paid to the people that have passed away and the
hmm.
people that are working on the people that are passing away. And I find that to be
Scary.
very, very, very scary, because I think, and this isn't a political conversation, I totally recognize
Doesn't
that,
matter.
but what?
I said it
It,
doesn't
it
matter. I want you to talk.
yeah, I feel like under the current administration, what
Hmm.
the main, and I certainly understand the economy needs to run and all that kind of stuff. I just don't feel we have been given the leadership that this country needs. And every system, no matter where it is broken. And that's not just the current administration. I think that's,
Sure.
that's life, right? Like that's,
Sure. Sure.
I just feel like that it's way more broken than any other administration that we've been a part of. I'm 47 years old at the moment. So
Mm-hmm.
Barack came on and laid out his support for Joe. And in that speech, I watched it like 5 times because
Mm-hmm.
it was the leadership that I miss and it's not, I didn't love every policy. I don't love every policy now. And I understand, but there's no compassion in this leadership team, I don't feel like. And that's very scary to me. And I don't think that applies if you're rich, if you're poor, if you own a massive business, or you're a worker bee. But I think that the compassion from the leadership, that's really scary to me.
I get it. So what you're scared of is huge. People dying, people who are working on the front line dying, and a lack of compassion and care from them from a
Yeah.
leadership standpoint of what's going on there. Yeah, that's what do you
Yeah.
do with those feelings of fear? What are you doing with your feelings of fear on that?
I'm talking about it. Like
Good.
I talk about that a lot because, and the people that I'm surrounded by talk about compassion a lot. I mean, we can talk about Sam Willing. We can talk about you. We can talk about Jane McCarthy. I mean, there's so many different people that actually, I would tell you almost everybody that we get to work with has a compassionate heart, because if they
Yes.
did, they wouldn't be giving back. And
Right.
so it's, Brooke Boone. I mean, I'm just thinking of
I
all
know.
these, Andrea Granville, Lady Hollywood. I mean, there's so many amazing women that I get to catch up with on a weekly basis or whatever.
Yeah.
But Jill Lax, Kristen Schneider. I mean, there's so many great people, and they're all doing what they can. And some people are doing stuff on grandiose levels, and some
Mm.
people are doing stuff that are literally bite-sized. And what I think is really important, like everybody that I know is discounting their fees so people can afford it. Everybody I
Mm-hmm.
know is giving back in their community in some
Mm-hmm.
way, shape, or form. Whether it is, like we're trying to provide really cool webinars for people. So we, just like you brought on somebody from Australia yesterday, and you're getting that fresh perspective and from a completely different culture is so
Mm-hmm.
rewarding. Um,
Ooh, I
and
love that.
yeah, and next Thursday we have one of the market presidents from Intercom, which is this massive media company.
Wow.
Um, we're going to have her. I'm going to push that out tomorrow or the next day, but we're going to have her come on and talk about where they're finding success and where they're finding challenges and how they're
Wow.
over those challenges. She is a rock star.
I
So
want to join that.
yeah, cool. It's a week from Thursday. So
Okay.
yeah, 10 a.m. Central and 11 your time.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so hopefully you can join us on that. And so I think it's just staying active, staying
Staying active,
yeah,
connected,
staying
having conversations. This is what I'm hearing you say.
yes, 100%. Do you
Hmm.
remember Kristen Burkemper? Was she there in the same course that
Yes.
you?
Yes.
Yes,
I do remember her.
yeah, she's amazing. She's so funny.
She really is.
She, for a long 2-hour walk the other day in this part of
Oh,
Forest Park, which I know you know Forest Park, but that
I
doesn't
do.
have, like on the outskirts of it, there's thousands of people walking, but there's this path that's along the golf course that we ended up taking a 2-hour walk, and we just shot the breeze like the entire, it was so fun.
Wow.
And we looked at each other at the end, we're like, okay, same time next week. Like it was just so fun, so there's ways to, I think, understand too, that what somebody else feels. And, there's a whole listening process. And excuse me, you're a great listener. I'm a really good listener, I feel like, as well. And I think that then I can take that and then turn that into, what I call, those evolutionary times. We're all in this evolutionary space at the moment. And how do we really make a difference? And I think it's sharing, and it's becoming a
Mm-hmm.
storyteller, becoming somebody who is a great listener so they can become a good storyteller.
Mm-hmm. I
And
love it.
yeah,
Those are
so
things that are very connective. I mean, honestly, one of the things when I interviewed Brother Richard, this monk,
yeah,
this Franciscan monk out of Dublin, one of the most beautiful things he said is, very few people, if any, have someone just come and say, "What's your story? What's your
yeah,
story?" And it
yeah,
makes people feel valued and important. And when
yeah,
people feel valued and important, we all feel more connected. We do,
percent.
because we feel more human.
Yes. And the Sea of Humanity has so many amazing, amazing people in it. And I think that we just have to focus on people's strengths and what they're doing in the humanitarian space. And that's a major focus of the storytelling that we do and the understanding. And that's why I wanted, although we're not filming, we don't have the opportunity at the moment to really film people. I
Mm-hmm.
do believe we can still share their stories within media kits that will help them benefit
Mm-hmm.
themselves, benefit their business, benefit the communities that they serve in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's my mission to get out there and have as many people share as we possibly can.
Tell me this, Kelly. A year from now, where would
Yeah.
you like to see Arras Sisters?
A year from now, hopefully a year from now, we'll be in Seattle with Sam Willing and Kirsten and Jane and Jill and Kristen. And we will be speaking to an amazing group of women at a massive branding conference. And that'll be really fun. Um,
Ooh, I want to be there.
I know. So we're going to try to do that in this, somewhere, but depending on the, current state of affairs, between January and February at some point in the winter. And then what else will we be doing? Eris Academy will be in full force. We will be doing courses on leadership, on team development, on branding, and actually finding the best team for different businesses. So that's we'll have about, I think by this time next year we'll be on tap to have 6 different courses, and we'll
Mm-hmm.
be filming. That's the other goal, is that a lot of this is work that then goes back into filming these amazing stories um, of things that need to come to the forefront, especially with hopefully the next leadership team that comes in.
I love it. I have a couple more questions.
Great.
So, what sound or noise do you love?
What?
What sound or noise do you love?
What do I love? I love music. I think,
Mm.
um, and it's funny, I go through periods where I listen to a lot of music, and then I go through periods where I don't listen to any. And I'm kind of in that mood right now, especially doing a lot of cooking. Are you cooking a lot?
No, but I'm eating a lot.
Okay, fair enough. But like, we're cooking every day, I feel like, or every
I
other
love
day.
it.
And
My husband's doing a lot of cooking. This is a huge thing for him, stepping up cooking.
cool,
Yeah.
fabulous, right? But
Yeah.
it's really fun. And that also then brings on music, and it brings on smells, and it brings on uh,
Mm.
flavor. Um, and you forget how much you enjoy doing some things when you have the time to
Yes.
do it. And
What music
so
are you listening to?
Uh, I listen to everything from like NWA and Eminem to
I love it.
like pop, like
Uh-huh.
47-year-old pop, that like is, Justin Timberlake and, those types of
I love
people.
it. I love it.
Um, yeah, and who I love? I love the Goo Goo Dolls, and I love
Okay,
Janet
that's what I want to get
Jackson.
to. Goo Goo
Yeah.
Dolls.
So I love the Goo Goo Dolls is probably one of my all time favorites.
What do you love
Yeah.
about them?
I love the words that they're using. I also love I don't even know the guy's name, but the main singer who, and I love the guitar. I mean, yeah,
He
he's
does it
just
for you.
something. He kind of does it for me. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you hate?
I don't like loud noises. So like any kind of a loud noise, like makes me like if something gets dropped in the kitchen on the hardwood floor and it's really
Oh,
loud, I
yeah.
hate that. I hate that noise. Any kind of, and I don't like fireworks or gunfire or
Yeah.
anything like that
They're a little
either.
shocking. Yeah.
That
They're jarring.
yeah, yeah, yes. Like it nice and
Yes, I know.
tranquil.
I get it.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah.
me channeling my inner James Lipton. Did you ever used to watch Inside the Actors Studio?
No. Was
It
it
was a
good?
show I adored. And at the
Oh,
end, he always ended with these couple of questions. So I have a couple more. What's your favorite curse word?
I probably say shit fuck all the time.
You are in good company because when I watched it years ago, Matt Damon was on and his favorite word was the F word too. And he was just like, it can be an adjective, it can be a verb, it's a bridge, it's just everything.
I'm kind of that girl too.
Oh, I love it. Okay. Here's the last question. If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get there?
I want him to say you did the best that you could with what you had. And although you might have made some grave mistakes, you also did the best that you can, the best that you could. And I think that
that's beautiful. That touches me.
Yeah, that's probably what I hope he says. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Oh my gosh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me. And you're going to have to come on my podcast next. We're just starting it.
Done. I'm there.
Cool. That's awesome.
Kelly,
I can't
what are you
wait.
going to do the rest of the day?
I've got about 4 more meetings today, and I've already gone for 30 this morning. For our new course.
Kick it out there. Send me the information, and when I post this, I would love to share it with them. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Right now.
You have a beautiful day. I appreciate you.
Love.
Love you. Bye.
Vice versa. Love you. Bye.